Hello everyone, welcome back to the study of economics. In the last episode, we have discussed about the 1 marks, 2 marks and MCQ fill in the blanks questions of chapter 1 from part B. In this episode, we are going to deal with 4 marks questions. First question. The traditional handicraft industries were ruined under British rule. Justify this statement. That means during the colonial period, India's handicraft industries were destroyed. Ruined means destroyed. Are you agree with this statement? If yes, means what are the reason? So that we can see here. Yes, we agree with the above statement that the traditional handicraft industries were ruined under British rule. Before the arrival of British in India, so traditional handicrafts industries were enjoyed worldwide reputation. But British adopted some policies. So that policies are the responsible for the destroy of traditional handicrafts. Those following policies are responsible for destroying the handicraft industries in India. They are discriminatory tariff policy. Discriminatory means different tariff policy. Tariff means tax. That is, according to this policy, according to discriminatory tariff policy, there was no duty on the export of goods from India. That means duty means what? Again, tax, tariff. So there was no duty on the export of goods from India and import of British finished goods to India. That means what? There is a absence of what? Tax or duty or tariff on the export of goods from India and import of British finished goods to India. And also heavy duty was placed on the export of handicrafts. Also heavy duty was placed on the export of handicrafts. That means export of handicrafts. So there they put heavy duty. So as a result, our India's traditional handicrafts became destroyed. Second question, indicate the volume and direction of trade at the time of independence. That means explain the trade of India during the time of independence. As we know that during the colonial rule, the British follows a discriminatory tax policy. So now let me see what about the volume of trade. The British policies made Indian handicrafts exports costlier. That means discriminatory tax policy which made Indian handicrafts too costliest, and also its international demand for drastically. Consequently, India's primary products like sugar, jute, raw silk, indigo, wool, etc., they'll become converted into export basket during the time of a colonial rule. That means we need to export goods like sugar, jute, raw silk, indigo and wool, etc. And also imports comprised of finished goods like cotton silk and woolen cloth and capital goods like light machinery from Britain. And also we need to make imports of finished goods from Britain industries. So those goods are cotton silk, woolen cloth and capital goods. Second one, direction of trade. As a monopoly power of India, export and import rested with the Britain. That means Britain, they controlled monopoly power in India. Monopoly power means single hand, single power. That means Britain itself control our India. So that as a monopoly power of India, so they control our export and import rested with the Britain. So more than half of the India's trade was restricted to Britain. That means our more than half of the export and import both are restricted to Britain itself, and the remaining imports were directed towards China, Iran and Sri Lanka. Thus, this led to the drain of Indian wealth to Britain. Next, third question. What do you understand by the drain of Indian wealth during colonial period? Dadabhai Naoroji propounded the theory of drain of Indian wealth in the 19th century. According to that, the colonial period was characterized by the exploitation of Indian resources. That we know that, so our all Indian resources are restricted by colonial government. And the primary motive of Britain to conquer India was to own a cheap raw materials in Britain. So their intention was their intention was to convert the raw materials. Their intention was to convert India into a supplier of raw material. Further, British government used India's manpower, and also Indians served in the British army at lower salaries. Also, expenses of wars and administrative expenses that were incurred by the British government to manage the colonial government in India were drawn from the revenue collected from Indians and export surplus generated through foreign trade of India. That means what are the revenue generated in India? So all that income or all that revenues, so they can use for the expenses of a war, administrative purpose, salaries of British officers, etc. Thus, the British rule drained Indian wealth for the fulfillment of its own interest. Thus, we can say that in this way, British government, they make use of India's revenue to fulfillment of its own interest. In this way, our Indian wealth become drained to British. Next, we'll discuss about 6 marks questions. Answer the following question in 20 sentences each. First question. Explain the status of India's agriculture during British rule. So what is the status of India's agriculture during British rule? As we already discussed in the previous episodes. Right? So now let me see here. The Indian economy was an agro-based economy on the eve of independence. You know that already. Our Indian economy is agro-based. Agro-based means agriculture. We are agriculture background. 75% of the Indian population was earning a livelihood from agriculture. Nearly 75% of the people, so they can earn revenue from the agriculture. Despite being a primary source of income for a major population, this sector faced decline under British rule. That means primary source of income for major population. That means most of the people engaged in agriculture, and this sector faced decline under British rule. But later on the stage, this sector faced decline under the British rule. During this period, agriculture sector was experienced stagnation and infrequently unusual deterioration. Means during the colonial period, agriculture sector was experienced stagnation and also unusual deterioration. Thus, the status of India's agriculture during British rule are as follows. Then let me see what about the condition of India's agriculture during the British rule. First one, the low level of agricultural productivity. Second one, the stagnation of agriculture sector. Third one, land settlement were introduced by the colonial government. Fourth one, zamindari system. Fifth one, use of outdated and old technology. Sixth one, commercialization of agriculture. And seventh one, negligible use of fertilizers. And eighth one, lack of irrigation facilities. Second question, India could not develop a sound industrial sector under colonial rule. Justify the statement. That means India's industrial sector was not developed under the colonial rule. For what? Colonial rule. So that we can discuss here. India used to be a well-known industry for textile and handicrafts in the old days. That means before the advent of colonial rule in India. So India is well known for industry for textile and handicrafts. But after the arrival of British, these industries were destroyed slowly as Britishers followed the process of deindustrialization of Indian industries to make way for British industries to flourish. That means after the arrival of British, so these industries were destroyed. Which industries? Textile industries and handicraft industries. And slowly as Britishers followed the process of deindustrialization of Indian industries, and slowly they move on to apply the policy that is deindustrialization of Indian industry, because to make way for British industries to flourish. That means their intention was that is to set up British industries in India, so that they make the policy deindustrialization. Following points will throw light on the situation of industries during British rule. So then these are the situations we can recognize. So these are the situations of industries during the British rule. First one, the decay of handicraft industries. Decay means destroy of handicraft industries. The traditional handicraft industries in India was flourishing and was known worldwide. That means you know that before the colonial power, so our traditional handicraft industries, it famous in worldwide. But with British arriving in India, they stopped the practice of using handicraft export by placing tariffs on exports. That means, but after the arrival of British in India, so they put heavy tariff on exports, and also they stopped to use the handicraft export. Also, there was stiff completion from the machine made products, and also they followed machine made products, so that it should be gives a stiff completion, and also they used machine made products. With the introduction of railways, the reach of British products increased to every corner of the country, and later on the stage they introduced railways, that is in 1853, so that which helps a lot to the British industries, because British products, So that should be increased to every corner of the country. All these factors led to the downfall of textile and handicraft industries in India. Second point, slow growth of modern industries. The presence of a loop-side infrastructure resulted in the limited or slow growth of enterprises. Besides, there was a scarcity of basic and heavy industries that hindered growth. That means, due to the scarcity of basic and heavy industries, so which creates problems to the growth. In this way, we can justify that India's industrial sector was not developed during the colonial rule. Last question, were there any positive contributions made by the British in India? Discuss. That means, is there any positive contributions of British in India? Yes, there were various positive contributions that were made by the British in India, though these contributions were not made with the objective of welfare for Indians but for the British interest. That means some of the measures so which helps to the Indians, but that contributions were not made with the objective of welfare for the Indians but for the sake of a British. Then let me see what are the positive contributions made by the British. First one, introduction of railways. The introduction of railways by the British was a breakthrough in the development process of Indian economy. It opened up cultural and geographical barriers and facilitated commercialization of Indian agriculture. So in this way, railways, so which helps to the people to break the barriers of cultural and geographical. Second contribution, introduction of commercialization of agriculture. It is an important breakthrough in the history of Indian agriculture. Prior to the advent of British, Indian agriculture was of subsistence nature. Third one, introduction of free trade. British forced India to follow free trade pattern during the colonial rule. That is benefit to the British. This is the key concept of globalization today. And the free trade provided domestic industry with a platform to compete with the British industries. So today's globalization, so which works out through the help of a free trade policy of Britain. And next contribution, development of infrastructure. The infrastructure developed in India by the British proved to be useful for Indian people. They are the telegram and postal services served Indian public, and the roads built by British provided connectivity to interior regions. So in this way we can say that British made a positive contributions in India. So these are the question and answers from your question bank. Okay students, everybody need to write this question with answers in your notebook. Thank you.